You've reached the capstone. Now it's your turn to design a complete Azure HSM solution for a regulated workload. You'll choose services, shape access, networking, and monitoring. Compare cloud and on-prem options, then defend a practical architecture and improvement plan. Up to this point, you've built a full stack of HSM skills. We started with fundamentals and Azure security patterns, then moved into deploying managed and dedicated HSM securely on private networks. You layered on monitoring, governance, and compliance, then compared Azure with on-prem and AWS. Now you're ready to make real design decisions. For the rest of this course, everything anchors in one concrete example: Contoso HealthAI, a regulated digital health platform built on Azure. It handles patient records, payment information, APIs, and AI analytics while complying with HIPAA, GDPR, SOC2, and ISO 27001. Your job is to design secure cloud operations and strong encryption key management around this scenario. Before choosing any HSM technology, you need a clear intake checklist. First, classify what you're protecting. PII, payment data, logs, or AI training data each carry different risks and regulations. Next, define cryptographic use cases: encryption, key wrapping, signing, or certificate storage. Then decide who needs access, for what purpose, and from where. Finally, lock in non-functional needs: uptime, latency, regions, disaster recovery, and cost guardrails. Think of your options as a spectrum. Azure Key Vault is the default. Broad support for secrets and keys, deep integration, low operational overhead, and usually lowest cost. Managed HSM adds stronger isolation and FIPS validation, while Azure still runs the hardware. Dedicated HSM goes furthest. You own appliance-level control and complexity. In the capstone, you'll justify the option that best fits risk, compliance, and your team's operational maturity. In this design, managed HSM becomes the trust anchor for your most sensitive workloads. Healthcare and analytics apps never touch raw keys. They call HSM operations over private network paths, authenticated with governed identities. Azure Storage, SQL, and App Service consume those customer-managed keys for encryption at rest. Every key and admin operation is logged and streamed into centralized monitoring and security analytics, where RBAC and policies enforce who can do what, and every action is auditable. Least privilege here means every identity has a narrow, intentional role. Use Microsoft Entra ID as the single source of truth, then assign managed HSM roles by job function. Key admins manage keys, but don't use them. Applications and key users consume keys, but can't change or delete them. Security operations only monitor and audit. Emergency or break glass accounts stay dormant and heavily protected with MFA, PIM, just-in-time elevation, and regular access reviews. You can think of the network design as shrinking every path to the HSM down to only what you truly need. Applications and admins reach it through private connectivity, never from the public internet. Each role lives in its own subnet, with network security groups and routes enforcing who can talk where. Private DNS ensures apps resolve only internal HSM endpoints. Every rejected connection and configuration change is monitored so suspicious patterns surface quickly. Key management is an ongoing lifecycle, not a one-time setup. Standardize key types, algorithms, sizes, naming, and usage restrictions. Define how keys are created or imported and how new versions are introduced. Plan rotation based on risk and compliance, but also on application compatibility. Align backup and recovery with your specific HSM service. Then formalize retirement, disabling, soft delete behavior, purging, and evidence that destruction actually happened. Logging and monitoring here are about creating trustworthy evidence, not just collecting data. Decide which events really matter: key lifecycle operations, failed access, admin changes, and policy updates. Map each event type to a specific log source, destination, alert rule, and owner. Treat alerts like mini runbooks: who gets notified, what they check, and how they escalate. Align retention with legal and audit needs so investigators can replay what actually happened. Compliance mapping is about telling a clear story. which HSM controls protect, which risks, and how you prove it. Link encryption and key protection to confidentiality, integrity, and access control requirements in each framework. Attach concrete evidence, diagrams, logs, key rotation records, and incident response playbooks. Extend this logic to privacy and AI workloads, so reviewers see how your cryptographic architecture supports data protection and emerging AI regulations. A strong HSM program depends less on technology and more on clear ownership. For every activity, key creation, rotation, backup, access approvals, and monitoring, decide who is responsible, who is accountable, who must be consulted, and who is simply informed. Bake this into change management and runbooks, so incidents and emergencies aren't improvised. Design separation of duties so no single team can generate, approve, use, and audit keys end-to-end. Every design is a trade-off. Managed HSM reduces operational effort, while dedicated HSM buys control at the price of complexity and staffing. Tight network controls raise assurance but can slow deployment. Aim for solutions that are secure enough, compliant enough, and still usable, affordable, maintainable, and scalable over time. At this stage, you're acting like your own security reviewer. Start by hunting for risks: excessive permissions, weak break glass paths, missing logs, and fuzzy ownership. Prioritize what matters most and apply course best practices: least privilege, private access paths, monitoring, rotation, and access reviews. Validate the design against your compliance mappings and evidence expectations. Clearly document decisions, assumptions, and any residual risks you're deliberately accepting in your final architecture. Your main job now is to treat HSM as a design discipline, not just a product choice. Start from regulatory and business requirements, then choose services and architect identity, network, keys, logging, compliance, and operations together. Use your capstone as a living blueprint for reviews, audits, and future workloads.